All right, so we recently did a deep dive audit on a real estate agent that's been in business for about 13, 14 years, and he was wondering why he wasn't ranking on Google, right? Because he's done everything and he's pretty active on his business and he's doing deals. And so in this video, I'm going to go over what a lot of local businesses and specifically real estate agents. I see this very, very common among a lot of local businesses. All right, so in today's video, I want to go over what I see very common for businesses that have been in business for quite a long time. And so in his case, he had two websites, right? One was more focused on his business and another website more focused on his personal brand. And then he also had two Google business profiles. So um, one was that he was actively managing or working on, which is his personal brand. And then inadvertently, what Google does is that um, if you have a website, Google will extract the information and create a Google business profile. And so he had another Google business profile he may or may not have known. And then he had social media accounts for um, his brand, right? But he was mixing those two brands. And so what he thought was SEO issues were not really SEO issues. It was really a foundational issue. Let me break it down. So when you look at Google, Google basically looks out and goes on the internet and basically scours the internet and pulls information. And so Google is looking at which brand to trust. And so the trust signal, the signals were split between two brands. And so what that means is that nothing was reinforcing each other, right? And so Google at this point is very confused and doesn't know which brand to trust. And honestly, I see this a lot, not only in real estate agents, but local businesses as well as, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I see this where entrepreneurs have multiple businesses and they're utilizing, whether they're utilizing the same website or the same phone number, same address, that's where Google gets confused. So in this particular case, let's talk about real estate agents. Real estate agents will typically have their personal brand, or maybe they have their company brand, maybe a team name. And then if you're a broker, you have a brokerage website. And then most likely, I see this happen often is that an agent will switch websites, and so they have an old website lying around that they did not know about. So the number one thing when it comes to, especially when you're online, is local visibility, which is part of my framework. Local visibility requires that you tell Google who you are, who you serve, what area you serve, and why you or your business is relevant. In this case, with this particular real estate agent, we conducted the audit. It was really a deep dive into everything. We looked at his online presence for both brands, and we concluded on one brand to focus on. And then we chose that brand to anchor everything around it. And then we mapped out a 90-day plan to pretty much systematically uh, build the foundation. And so once that foundation is set, he will start ranking on Google. Most people don't have a ranking problem, they have a clarity problem. If you've been in business for a while and you're not showing up, it might be worth it to take a look and see whether everything is aligned. Sometimes it's not about doing more, but it's about making sure everything is aligned. If you want us to take a look, feel free to reach out to me.